this is a big one I want to talk on with you, which is something that we've had discussions about. You have it with your clients all the time, which is, do you believe in yourself? And do you actually believe you can intentionally create and live your life by design? So we can enter that conversation in any number of places, but ultimately we have to say, whether it's a great career or a business that you've started or are in the middle of or well on your way, are you feeling like it is serving your life and your lifestyle the way you intended it to do that? And are you prepared, or can you work backwards from that outcome? Are you clear on what that outcome is, perhaps, is the better question.
Well, I think just going to slow you down there for a minute, Cowboy, is that when you say living your best life, be your greatest self, for me, I want to make sure that it doesn't land when people hear us say that, is that your life has to be perfect
Mm.
and you have to be perfect and you can't screw up, you can't make mistakes, you can't snap show, or you can't have a bad day. That's not what that means. I mean, when I say that and I hear you say that, living your best life, being your greatest self, it's just, are you doing the work? Are you aligning your purpose with your passion? Are you able to, be authentic and be truthful and speak your truth and own your power when it comes to decision making, for example? So living my best life, being my greatest self, doesn't mean I have to be perfect. And I want to make sure that we really drive that home, is that I've heard people actually comment and send me notes and saying, well, I don't know if I'm living my greatest life and my best self. How do I know that? And I said, well, you know what? Check in on yourself, check in with flow. Are you in alignment with your values? Are you taking care of yourself, nurturing yourself in 7 areas of your life? Are you being authentic? Are you surrounding yourself with people who challenge you, not just like-minded people that are just, patting you on the back? Are you putting, well, we need like-minded people, but not always just the ones that pat us on the back. So what does that mean? So when you define living your best life, being your greatest self, I really think it's important that when we understand what that means, it means something different to everybody.
Well, I think there's a couple things around that. I'd never had that comment. So interesting that you bring that up. So we'll take it for what it is. No, it's not about being perfect, because who defines perfect? It's, I listened to a recent podcast where they used the word success a lot. By the way, it was a great podcast. Loved it. But they used the term success a lot. And in that, there was no way of defining what success is. They had some great points. They made some, and they talked a lot about business and buying businesses and owning businesses and exiting businesses and all of the things. And they kept using this word success, which is, the word success is just thrown out there arbitrarily, and it's supposed to mean the same thing for everybody, which is usually measured by dollars and cents. And I've learned in interviewing many everyday millionaires that the last thing that success is ultimately measured in by those who have actually had financial success is their financial success. So there's a question that I get to, which is life happening to you, or is it happening for you? And what are you doing to orchestrate that? So for me, the best definition of success that I've got to, which I've shared often, which is, in any given time, have you achieved the outcome, and are you living the life that you had envisioned? Now, there isn't one end game called, oh, this is the vision for my life, or this is an end game. This is because our values change, our life is changing, we're evolving, therefore our vision is evolving. So at any given time, yeah, I shared this story many times. I think you and I have talked about it, of course, many times, where we were laying in bed. This was many years ago. I think I was 45, and we were laying in bed reading on a Sunday morning, which we often did. And I came to the realization that I had achieved everything I set out to achieve. And it was like, wow, what next was first. I think maybe before that, I went, holy cow, do I ever dream too small?
Oh, wow.
And I don't know if you remember that. It was an epiphany. I don't know what we were reading in the moment. I went, holy cow, this is exactly, I'd achieved exactly what I wanted to achieve. And I went, wow, I think way too small. So
Wow.
that was an interesting takeaway. But what are we talking
I
about
think
here?
I think that's important, is that, and I don't want to step over the fact that the other thing, I remember you sitting in a chair when we had first moved to BC in our big wingback chair in our in our little townhouse. and you said, success is simple.
Yeah,
And you came
significantly
up with
impact
it.
many people's lives every day.
You came up with the acronym
Yeah,
SIMPLE. Simply impact many people's lives every day.
yeah.
Success is simple. And that's because I get it. It resonates with me because I'm purpose driven.
Mhm.
So having that as my purpose, I always know that money will flow when I'm in my purpose. I just know because I'm a magical creator. I have a context for money. I have a very strong, large, wide bucket
You do.
container for how I hold money. But I know that if I'm not purpose driven, then I can be a destroyer. Like I can be pretty powerful on both sides. So for me, success is simple.
So let's talk about a couple things that I want to touch on today, which is when you're looking at your life today. So let's just say you're an entrepreneur or an entrepreneur, whether you're big corporation or like where you've got a great job, great career, you love it, cool. Are you getting the most out of that, and are you living your best life? When I say are you living your best life, it really means are you living the life that you have envisioned? And the thing about that, I think, one of the takeaways in that conversation is how many times have we heard people say, I'll be happy when,
Mm,
I'll feel successful when, or you know, I'll be better when. It's like the future is way ahead of them, but they're not really appreciating and enjoying the life they have today. So there's a fundamental that we use all the time. It's like I say, there's lots of cliches that we'll throw in there, but the cliche in this case is, when your vocation is like your
mm.
vacation, you will never work another day in your life.
I
Well, what
love
does that
that.
mean? What does that mean? And for
Well, to
us, it
me,
means we love what we do. So when we get up every day and it's far from perfect, we have all of our challenges, but that's all part of it. But we love what we do because, in our case, and we talked about this on the last podcast, one of our drivers is purpose. That's not everybody's driver, but it's one of our key drivers is purpose. Uh, and we get to wake up every day knowing that our commitment is to build our businesses, be a contribution, do a podcast, because it's ultimately serving us in terms of our purpose, which is then serving the life we want to create for ourselves. Am I being accurate in that statement?
well, yeah, we were talking this morning on the deck having coffee just about being able to say, this is really what we want. In order to get on a plane or to go on a vacation, it means we have to leave our amazing life, our
Hmm.
dogs, our property, our chosen family, our friends. I mean, I would love for our family, to be closer, your sister, my brother, and, some of our extended family. I would love them to be closer. But the truth is, this is our life. This is what we created. And yes, for me, this is what I've envisioned. And each stage of our life on our journey, which has been hilarious, we've gone from downtown Vancouver at the Shangri-La to living on the acreage to, being at the Olympic Games to, being, having this amazing life. And yes, is it what I've envisioned? But had I known back then when I was starting to do my vision work and starting to set intentions and outcomes that it was going to actually come true, I probably would have been a little bit more clear.